At the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless Trees. And if you're an audiophile, don't watch my review because I care a lot more than just about the sound. Now, if you are an audiophile, go watch Big Daddy Chronicle's review on this. He does give a very strong and simple opinion as to why he doesn't think this is going to be great if you are someone who only cares about sound like him. But for me, as an average consumer who wants a pair of true wireless earphones that sound pretty decent but also have a lot of things going for it, I actually do like these quite a bit, and here's why. Let's start with the sound though, because that is still very important in a pair of earphones because you're listening to music on them. They are not bad at all. I mean, they're definitely a great improvement over the TW2 and the TW1. I mean, even Chronicle gave it a C+, and he's very harsh. It is passable and it is very nice. Its sound signature is not really particularly refined or particularly intricate. It's not really special. It's not very balanced. It's not like AirPods Pros or Galaxy Buds or the Sonys in terms of pure sound quality, but I think most people won't even notice or won't even care compared to those earphones if you're just an average consumer like me. The reason for that is because the sound in here is kind of just designed to be palatable. It's a V-shaped sound signature, but unlike the previous earphones which were overly exaggerated and have weird vocals that sounded muffled, these have been balanced out, so it's extremely palatable for any kind of music, any kind of average listener, which is kind of what the Momentum series have always been about. Sennheiser has the IE600s and the HD600s to appeal to the audiophile crowds, but these earphones are not designed for the audiophile crowds. The Momentum line has never been about audiophile crowds, it's always been about mainstream people, so for the audiophiles dishing on it and hating on it, be aware of the fact that, well, Sennheiser isn't forgetting their audiophile high-end hi-fi roots, they just kind of have Momentum lineup be dedicated to us plebeians. And for us plebeians, I think most of us will enjoy it. I really do like this. And you can use the app to tweak the sound to your heart's content. You can increase the bass, mids, or trebles, whatever you want to do. I just crank up the mids because I like really forward sounding mids. But either way, I do like these earphones once I've tweaked them. I really do enjoy the sound. They don't get loud enough, I would say. They're quite soft in terms of the volume, but apart from that, they just sound really quite good, and you're gonna have a good time with them if you're just a normal buyer, which I'm guessing you are because you're still watching my video. In terms of noise cancelling though, it is definitely not as good as Sony or Apple or Bose, but they're fine, they're good. You know, the noise cancelling is sufficient. If you're on a plane, you'll be fine. If you're in a noisy environment, you'll be fine. It does work, and it doesn't have any sort of annoying hiss or headache issues. It doesn't cause any of that, so that's good. Now let's talk about the things I actually like about these earphones that keep it as an action option. Well, for one, it's the fact that the battery life is really quite good. I can do like a 12-hour workday at my desk and not really have to charge them. Another thing that is absolutely really good and a really strong point about the Momentum True Wireless Tree is the build quality and design. I mean, this is just the most beautiful pair of wireless earphones I've used that don't sound like crap. I know a lot of very fancy looking true wireless earphones, but they sound absolutely terrible. These don't sound terrible and they feel and look amazing. I mean, honestly, look at the AirPods Pros, the Galaxy Buds, and the Sony WF series earphones. They don't feel like the amount of money that they cost. I know they sound excellent, right? They're all really, really good in their own way, but they don't feel and look like the price you paid for them. These definitely do. The cloth finish on the case, the satisfying snap of the case, the beautiful design and brushed aluminum finish on the back of each earphone, and the weight of it all and the materials. It looks like the amount of money you paid it for, which is a lot. Now this is about the same price as the AirPods Pros and the Sonys and the Galaxy Buds. And for the average consumer who does not care that much about sound and wants something that actually, feels when you pick it up and unbox it, like the amount of money you paid for it, that is definitely going to be one of these earphones' strong suits. Wireless earphones are a fashion accessory. You want them to be looking really, really good, and these look really good. Whereas AirPods Pros and the Sonys and the Galaxy Buds are like plastic little dildos that hang out of your ear, so these definitely do win on that front, which is very important for a lot of people. In terms of comfort, I think these are fine. They're not particularly amazing. They are a little bit fat and bulky, so in terms of like ergonomics and bumping into things, it might be a bit of a problem. But it's not really a big problem. It comes with a variety of different ear tip sizes, so you can change it and adjust it. It even has like a spot tip adjustment so that you can kind of like have a hook so that it sticks in your ear better when you're running and working out. As for connectivity, I would have to give full disclaimer here. Sennheiser did send me these earphones, but there was a big problem before launch. So I got these like quite a few weeks ago, and the reason the review took so long is because for the first 2 to 3 weeks there were a lot of issues with connectivity, and they had to swap it out for me, but even then it wasn't fixed. Turns out it was some firmware issue, and once I updated to the new firmware for the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've had no connectivity issues. But early on, like, there were just problems with the earphone not playing music, nothing, it will connect but nothing will happen, like the app will glitch out and all that stuff. But for the 2 to 3 weeks now, knock on wood, I have not had any of these issues, so you should be fine if you get it. Just make sure you update to the latest firmware ASAP so you don't get any sort of the bugs that I faced early on in its launch, which are quite well documented on Reddit and you can read about, honestly. The app though is really good. As I've said, you can adjust like different music settings and just adjust your controls and your control schemes. And you can also do all the smart home things that you expect with wireless devices these days. You can set up listening zones, so you can have it have noise cancelling turn off or a certain sound signature when you're at home versus when you're outside or at the library or at the gym. And I think that is really nice and smart, though I highly doubt anyone would use those features because most people, they just connect, maybe check the app once, set it up once and forget about it for the rest of the earphones life, like me. But thankfully though, once you set it up, you don't really have to touch the app ever again unless you want to tinker around constantly, so you'll be fine. The control scheme is also really excellent on this. Honestly, I think Sennheiser has one of the best control schemes out of any earphones I've tried. Good job, Sennheiser. And they do explain it in the app really nicely, and they also explain it in like a little pamphlet manual that comes in the box. So in conclusion then, should you buy this, the TW3 Sennheiser Momentum wireless earphones? Well, if you're an audiophile, as I said at the start, absolutely no. The sound is good, but not gonna be good enough for very intricate, very fine tastes. But for the average consumer like me and you, you're gonna like this quite a bit. Not only does it have pretty decent sound, it has a lot of other things that I would say matter to a lot more people. Like the design, like the build quality, like the battery life being so excellent. All of those things are very important to a lot of people, especially the fancy design and materials and finish on this. Like it looks premium, and I think a lot of people care about that because you're spending a couple $100s on a pair of earphones. You want it to look premium, you want it to be a fashion accessory, and these are one of the few true wireless earphones that actually do that quite well and quite classically. Could Sennheiser have done better with the TW3? Absolutely, the sound could have been more fancy. But honestly, for who it's targeted at, it kind of makes sense that it isn't. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.